Well, it's not Monday night, but I'm glad you're watching. And I don't know of any class that you are taking right now at West Coast that is more important than powerful prayer. Because if there's anything our country needs, we need here, you need, it's prayer. So we got to start practicing the class that we're taking. I'm going to truly miss the Monday night classes, and there was going to be more of the corporate prayer that we were going to do. And I really enjoyed those prayer times at the end of each class. However, we are going to see and read each other's prayers in the weeks to come as well. So I think that we're going to enjoy that and appreciate that. Here's what I'd like to have you do, students, right now. If you would, take out your syllabus because there's some changes in it. And I want to tell you a little bit about what we're going to do. Now, normally this class was meeting once a week. We're going to change that whole format. You will have 2 lectures a week. And they're only going to be about 20 minutes long is all they're going to be. And there's going to be some things that are required every week of you, like there was in our other class. But do know there's not like 1 2-hour lecture. There's going to be 2 like 20-minute lectures. I want to share several things on prayer with you still. I want to talk to you a little bit about fasting, how to pray for leaders, which we really need right now, and go over some of those things. But if you're looking at your syllabus, I want you to see some things. First of all, I'm going to tell you how we're going to take attendance for the next several weeks till the end of the class. Every week, you're going to be asked a question. Did you read your assignment? So the next one would be due like March 25th, and it would be pages 200 to 227. Did you read that assignment? You got to say yes or no. That will give us your attendance that you clicked in, that you linked in, and then hopefully the answer will be yes. You will be counted off if you haven't. So that will be important. And then for each week, there's an assignment to read. The next one's pages 228 to 261. It'll be asked that week whether or not you read that. So that's how we're going to take attendance. Very important. You could get dropped from the class if you're not answering the question at least. Did you read that assignment? I want you to finish the book. It's a great book, and I know it'll be a help to you. Then I want you to look at the next section on the petitions of prayer. I have thoroughly enjoyed the prayers that you have handed in, and they have really meant a lot to me. Now, the next one will be due on Wednesday, April 1st. It will be a prayer for your church and pastor. Here's what I want to do. I want everyone is going to submit that. You will read each other's prayer and post on 2 or 3 of them. I'll say 3 that you'll post that you read and what you liked about the prayer, whatever, whoever prayed about their church or their pastor. You could say, hey, maybe it should have been more specific. It was too hazy or whatever. But you'll make a comment about 3 of those prayers, a prayer for your church and pastor. The following week, we're changing it to April 8th, not March 30th in your syllabus. April 8th, a prayer for your country. Wow. I am definitely looking forward to hearing those prayers. And I want to hear your comments on each other's prayer for the country. And what we're going through right now, I think it'll be great for us to write out a prayer of how you're praying for America, especially during these times. And then number 3, and this is going to be, I think it's going to be very special to read each other's prayers and for me to see your prayer, your Jabez prayer. Well, the first thing I would do is look up 1 Chronicles 4, 9, and 10, read Jabez's prayer for himself. And it wasn't just that God would bless him, but there was a reason why he prayed God would bless him. And the Jabez prayer is your prayer for yourself to enlarge your coast. For how do you pray for you? And I think that is so important. That will be due on April 15th, and then we'll read those Jabez prayers. April 8th, we'll read your prayer for the country, and I know that'll touch our hearts. And on April 1st, your prayer for your church and your pastor. And just everything that's going on right now can go into those prayers that you will post. And we will all read those, though, as well. Then we have another change. The prayer research paper that is due Monday, I've changed the date to Monday, April 15th. That's when that research paper is due. By the way, if you call into the library, Mrs. Sultanic has put some things away for you to tap into, some sources to help you on the John 17 prayer. A little bit later in one of the other lectures, after we get through midterm, I'll talk to you a little bit more about the John 17 research project on what I would call the Lord's Prayer in John 17. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. What I want to do right now, and either if you have a highlighter or something to mark with or something to write down, I want to give you some review points for our midterm. Now, the next time you come into the class, it will be your midterm that you will take. And then after that, we'll go back to lectures. But next week, when you go in, you're going to be going in to your midterm. So know that and be prepared for that. And I want to just go over a few things that'll be on your midterm test. Number one, what are the two components to praise in your prayer? I gave you two components of praise. I want you to look those up and be ready for those. Do know this, that the questions on Canvas have to be exactly written out. You're only going to have about 20 minutes to do the exam, but that's going to be enough time, trust me. But you do have to write the exact words for the question, or it will be marked wrong. It'll be a little bit of a fill in the blank, but what are the two components of praise and prayer? You can have them in either, you'll understand it when you see it. There'll be a little bit of a fill in that I'm going to put in, and then you'll put some words down for that. I want you to give me the outline for Psalm 150. Again, I will give, actually it'll be just one word answers on verse 1, verse 2, verse 3 through 5, verse 5. There'll be one word, and then I'll give a little statement that the word goes with. So do know the Psalm 150 outline. What are the three components to prayer that we talked about? Now, we're not talking about the two components of praise. Now we're talking about the three components of prayer. What kind of prayers? There's, I'm going to let you look those up. And what are the three components to all of our prayer? Then we talked about in intercession, which is one of the components of prayer. In intercession, we talked about how to pray audacious prayers for others. And they were three S's. What were they? Well, I'll tell them. Remember that we pray specific, we pray supernatural, and we pray steadfast. Make sure that you know that. What was the definition of prayer given in class? Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of fill in the blank. You won't have to give it perfectly, but just about every word in that definition, you're going to have to fill in. I'll give you a couple words, but what is the definition of prayer given in class? And then I want you to give me the outline that I gave on Jonah chapter 2, on Jonah's prayer, Jonah's blank of prayer, Jonah's blank for prayer, Jonah's blank in prayer, Jonah's blank for prayer, and Jonah's blank with prayer. I want you to be able to give that outline with the proper verses. 3 ways you should not allow your prayers to be. Boy, you better get that one right. Don't let your prayers be hazy, crazy, or lazy. And that will be on your test. And then the definition of importunity, which is helpless, urgent consistency. By the way, we need prayers of importunity right now for our country and for our lives and for our college. as well. And then we talked about the last class that we did. We talked about praying ground. And there's three things that in order to be on praying ground, you have to be on sinless ground, surrendered ground, and sacred ground. Remember, on that sinless, I didn't mean sinless perfection. I mean that you're right with God and that you're coming to God. And to me, this outline on waiting on prayer, we never got tested on this. So I really want you to know this. Why do we wait? There's 6 things. It shows His lordship, ownership, fellowship. It shows our desire, dedication, determination. I want you to know that. I thought that was why we wait. And then, how do we wait? Close to His word, doing His will, and praying for His wisdom. That's how we wait. And I'm telling you, right now, these are so important. Right now, what's going on in our own lives and everything. And then what do we wait for? A desire from God, the peace of God, and an opportunity to do it for God. We're waiting for God to open that door. And I really want you to get that whole lecture on why we wait and why God, on waiting on our prayers. I think we're so important. Hey, if you get all that, you're going to get an A on your midterm. Do remember the words, exact words, are very important. Most of them are alliterated with each one of the outlines. That should help you. And I can't think of anything else right now, students. So let me just kind of go over the format. What's going to happen again? Your next class will be your midterm. And then after the midterm, we'll go back to a lecture, and I will give you a lecture. And then we will, and then I'll explain more things in that lecture, and we'll talk a little bit about prayer. By the way, every one of the classes will only be about 20 minutes in length. They won't be long, and I will tell you, they will be very practical things on prayer that you're going to want. Do know that I'm praying for you, and I mention this. I hope you know my heart on this. If you have prayer requests in 2 forms, one that you would like to have me pray for, I give you my word. You email me a prayer request. I'll be praying for you. Maybe it's a job. Maybe something's going on in your home, your church, with everything that's going on in our country. I'll pray for it. If you want me to mention it to the class, I would be honored to do that. And if something's going on at the beginning of our lecture time, we'll mention some of the requests that some of you sent in. So please know you can do that as well. And I think we're going to end well. I think your paper on John 17 is going to be life-changing in seeing how Christ prayed for us and how He prayed to the Father in the Garden of Gethsemane. I think that's going to be special as well. Okay, thank you. And next class is your midterm. And then after that, we'll go back to our lectures. Thank you very much.